Fowler's Fowl, or Fitcher's Vogel by the Brothers Grimm, is one of my favorite stories because it tells the tale of three sisters and how the youngest one uses her wit and her cunning to rescue the other two and get them out of trouble. I hope you enjoyed the story. Grimm's Grimmest. The story of Fowler's Fowl. In olden times, there was a sorcerer who dressed himself as a pauper and went begging from house to house and stole away pretty girls. No one knew where he took them because none ever came back. One day, the sorcerer knocked at the door of a man who had 3 beautiful daughters. He feigned weakness and carried an old battered basket on his back to hold any gifts that he might be offered. He asked for a bite of food, and the eldest girl came out to give him a piece of bread. At the sorcerer's touch, she came under his spell and could not help herself from jumping into his basket. At that, he hurried off with a powerful stride and carried her to his house in the middle of a dark forest. Everything in the house was magnificent, and the sorcerer gave the girl whatever she could wish for, saying to her, "My darling, you will always be happy here with me. You have everything that your heart desires." It went this way for a couple of days, and then the sorcerer said, "I must go away on a journey and leave you alone for a while. Here are the keys of my house. You may go anywhere and look at everything, but one room is opened with this little key, and I forbid you to enter it under pain of death." He also gave her an egg and said, "Look after this egg very carefully and carry it wherever you go, because something terrible will happen if it should get lost." The girl took the keys and the egg and promised to take good care of everything. When he had gone, the girl went through the house from top to bottom and looked at everything. The rooms glittered with silver and gold, and it seemed to her that she had never seen such great splendor. Finally, she came to the forbidden door. She meant to walk past, but curiosity nagged at her. She looked at the key. It looked like an ordinary key. She put it in the keyhole and turned it just a little bit. But the door sprang open, and what did she see? A great bloody basin stood in the middle of the room. It was filled with the parts of dead bodies that had been hacked into pieces. Beside it stood a butcher's block with a gleaming axe on top. The girl was so horrified that she dropped the egg, which she held in her hand, and it fell into the basin. She quickly picked it out and wiped off the blood, but her efforts, they were all in vain because the blood reappeared in a moment. She washed and she scrubbed, but it would not come clean. It was not for long before the man came back from his journey, and the first thing he asked for was the key and the egg. She gave it to him, but she was trembling, and he could tell from the red spots on the egg that she had been in the bloody chamber. "You have gone into that room against my will," he said, "and shall go back against your own. Your life is finished." He threw her down, dragged her in by the hair, and cut her head off on the block. Then he hacked her to pieces so that the blood flowed all over the floor, and he tossed her into the basin with the rest of his victims. "Now I'll go and get the second one," said the sorcerer. And again he went back to the house disguised as a poor man begging for food. The second daughter brought him a piece of bread, and he caught her as he had the first by just touching her, and then he carried her away. She fared no better than her sister, for her curiosity also led her astray. She opened that door to the bloody chamber, looked inside, and paid with her life. Now the sorcerer went and fetched the third girl, but she was smart and clever. When he had given her the key and the egg and gone on his journey, she first carefully put the egg away, then she looked all around the house and finally went into the forbidden room. Ah, what did she see? There in the basin lay her two dear sisters, miserably murdered and hacked into pieces. But she got her wits about her and set to work, and she gathered all the parts and laid them in the right order: head, body, arms, and legs. And when nothing was missing, the limbs began to move and join together, and the two girls opened their eyes and were alive again. They were happy and they kissed and hugged one another. And then the third one led her sisters out of that horrible room and hid them away.